Hello everyone, I am Naman Sharma. Welcome to the introductory video of React.js. In this video, I am going to give you a brief walkthrough of how we are going to set up the React.js project, and I will guide you through what are the tools which we are going to use, and how we can set up a fresh project, and what are the common terminologies which we have to which we have to know before we start development using React.js. So, what actually is React.js? React.js uh, is a front-end library. React.js is a front-end library developed by Facebook which was developed by Facebook to mm, solve the issue of state management, which was being arise due to the heavy code base of the Facebook company. Now, let's go have a brief walk through the documentation of the React.js. Here, we are on the react.dev documentation website of the React.js. Here we can see this is a very much detailed documentation for React.js. This describes the walk. This describes a very vivid walkthrough for a beginner to initiate a project and to set up and complete and give and it gives maximum errors and problems which are faced during development using React.js. Let me give you a brief walkthrough through this documentation. When we see this documentation, we actually come through this portion where we have to start a new React project. In this portion, the documentation itself says that we can use the build tools like Vite or Parcel. What are build tools actually? Which we are actually going to use React Vite. So to discuss Vite, what Vite is actually? Vite is a build tool. So what a build tool does? It provides faster server-side rendering. So from rendering, uh, we actually know that is React introduced ourselves to the concept of virtual DOM, which solves the problem of uh, multiple reloads or the multiple renderings. The DOM tree doesn't need to be rendered continuously when we are using React. So, the Vite or any other build tool actually bundles up the React package and helps the beginners to have a faster server-side rendering and a better development experience. So uh, Vite is a very easy to use and beginner-friendly tool uh, and is in immense use in in the industry right now. To set up a React Vite project, we can see how it provides a nice guide. React Vite documentation provides a nice guide of how we can set up a whole project. So it provides all the commands which we have to see. Let's copy paste them inside our code base. Let's create a new project first. We have to copy paste this command, and after writing npm create read at the rate latest, we have to give the folder name. We can give a dot symbol if we are in the root directory and we want the project inside the root directory. If we don't give the project name, it asks for it the project name itself. So let's give it a name read project. So it asks for the what are the frameworks we are going to use inside this project. Let's see. The first the framework which we are using is React, and the variant which we will be using is JavaScript. So now as the project is ready, it's ready to use. Now we can actually have a walkthrough, and we have to get inside the folder. So let's get in. Now we are inside the Vite project folder, and now when we have uh, created the project, the first thing which we need to install are the node modules. Node modules, what are node modules? Node modules are the set of dependencies which are required for the execution of the our package or our project. So before we create any project or before we run any project, installing node modules is a compulsory step. So how we do it? We can use any package managers like npm or yarn to install them. The command to install node modules is npm I or npm install. Any of these two works. So let's give the npm install command. Till the time it is being downloaded, let me guide you through the Tailwind CSS documentation. Tailwind CSS documentation, it is a very well written and a very nicely, and it's a beautiful documentation crafted in the Tailwind CSS.com website. It The best thing is that nowadays, the few days ago, the version 4.0 of this documentation was rolled out. That's why uh, now the installation for Tailwind for Vite actually is very easy, and is now Tailwind is built in default for Vite actually. It contains Tailwind also support other frameworks also, but we will see this for Vite initially. Let's see then. Our node modules are downloaded. So let's copy paste the command for an Tailwind CSS for Vite. So this is being downloaded. Now we can see what are the other things required for Tailwind CSS. It is written here. The file name is mentioned very well. It is viteconfig.ts. We need to install this. Uh, we have to add these commands inside the viteconfig file. .ts extension doesn't changes anything. We are actually using uh, JavaScript version, but the documentation is written for a Tailwind for TypeScript, but that doesn't cause much of the disturbance to the code base. JavaScript and TypeScript are not much different, and we can use anything which we can use the same command for the both of them. So now we have to add plugins also. We have imported Tailwind CSS. Now we are adding the plugins which we need to add for the execution. So now we have to add this to the index.css file inside our source folder. Let's see. Inside this index.css file, we have to copy paste this thing, and only this much is required to set up the Tailwind part. Now, our project setup is complete. For this project, the initial setup is complete. Now we can go through and run we can actually run the development server. So we can actually start the development server from this point after setting up this much. So to start the development server, we can see the commands which are actually shown in the package.json file. Here, in the script portion, we can see development server can be started using the dev command. So the command actually goes like npm run dev. When we enter the command, we can see that localhost 5173 is being started. So when we open this, we can see the initial development server, which gives this bright screen. Which this is actually a much better design screen. But as we have installed the Tailwind CSS and changed the CSS configuration, so these things are like this. Now this is a counter project initially. We can see this is a tab written as count button is there. We can refresh this. So this is go like it's 0. So when we click on this count, the button is incrementing. There's no option for decrementing. We will understand this boilerplate of this project, and this project will help us understand the flow of how we are going to develop using React.js. So this is the main app.jsx file. So let's understand the main. uh, how we are actually working with this file. So we can see here we have multiple options. Uh, let's go to the host again. We can see here it is written Vite plus React and it is count 0 and the source links are given. It's in on the boilerplate tells us to visit source slash app.jsx to edit this main screen. Okay, so we will edit this. So let's start by the start editing. Let's let's start editing this file from the by cleaning and deleting the extra code which is given inside the boilerplate. So we are deleting the main initial portions. So what we will keep is uh, only the counter button. We will delete everything else which is inside it. To understand, so now we are deleting it one by one. Let's see the initial uh, hyperlinks. I'm removing all the hyperlinks which are initially inside it. I'm removing the which I'm removing all the div containers which are not required inside the project. I'm changing the heading of this content and writing a counter app so that it looks our first project is ready. This is a very basic setup for the project. I will discuss what is inside this code and what are the most important things which we need to understand from this boilerplate code. Let's see. I have removed all the unnecessary piece of code which was given initially. So let's see the result. Now we have a empty screen which has a counter app is written and the count is set to 0. So let's see what's inside the code actually. The code actually is following the when we start it, we can see the code starts with the import statement. The import statement is used to import the use state hook. What are hooks? We will understand when we move ahead in the journey of React.js. Let's see the next part. After importing all the hooks, we have initialized a function named app. Inside this app, the first line which is written is const count slash comma set count. So what is this count and set count? And what is use state? So use state is a hook which we are using for state management. So what is state management? Let's understand this by an example. So inside the let's take a scenario where we have to where in a website when one thing is changing, for example, a notification is being shown uh, in the Instagram website, a notification is being shown outside the app, inside the messenger options, and in the notification bar also. So we can see that at three places we have the notification. But what will happen if we only see the message by directly visiting the messenger option? The other two things will not be updated, but in reality they are being updated. So how the data is being updated from one place to another, this thing has been managed using this state management. For the state management, we actually use this hooks. Uh, Here we have how we are using the count and set count for state management. The count variable will store the value, while the set count variable will be used to update the value of the count. Next, we have return. After this, we are not writing any logical things inside it. Rather, uh, we just enters the return statement. Inside the return statement, uh, the JS.jsx file or any of the these files in which we are going to return the anything, we need to remember that we can only return one component. So that's why we use this empty parenthesis which are used as a parent container which contains all the code which is being returned in the app.jsx or any other JSX file. Inside it, we can see we have heading which is counter app. I have changed it. We can see the we have imported uh, Tailwind CSS. We can actually see how we are using it. We can use Tailwind CSS by this keyword class name. Inside this class name keyword, uh, we can put the Tailwind commands to um, add background and add text colors. We can also give text sizes. We So now I am putting the text color to be blue, and I will give the value of what kind of blue I need. I'm going to give text blue 500. We can see on the server, in the our rendering server, we can see the color is changed to counter app is changed to blue. So now let's try centering in it inside it. For centering the content, we actually use the justify center and align item command. So let's put them justify center and align item. I don't know why the I'm not to center the item. We can see we have to put the command align center, align items actually, and it is flex. So let's see the output, which we can see the output. Yeah, it is inside in the center. The counter app is we can see the counter app is in the center. Now we can actually get a better results by putting some. Let's get background bg yellow to yellow 500. So let's for the output here. We can say it's a good output. Now we can change the text color to black. Yeah, now it does the job. We can see it's looking good. Now we will create in this project. Now we will create two buttons. So these buttons are very similar to this. Let's copy paste them with the initial one and one more. So one button is for incrementing and next another one is for decrementing. Let's increment the second one. So let's decrement and the next one is increment. So the function, let's change the function. Inside the function, we can see each button is showing button on click set count has been changed to count plus one, which is the initial value. And we saw inside the boilerplate code that we can only increase the value. But in the decrement button, let's change the function and let's put a minus sign here. So we can see that now uh, there is no problem in this. Uh, Now we can check the outputs here. It is zero increment and decrement. Let's change the CSS. Let's put some of CSS here. Uh, I'll put this flex here again. Uh, we'll put a padding of 10 and margin also inside the counter. And let's close this here only. So it will look good. So this actually does the job. Now we can see we have a zero which is written here. So we have to change the CSS. Actually, the padding I gave the padding of 100. Let's change this to 10. Now we can see the zero is here. What if we put a background color of BG gray? Let's see 300. We can check the background. Now we have a this zero written on the counter. The initial value for the zero for the counter was set to zero. Inside this, we can also change the state. Initial state we can change. Let's start the state from 10. Uh, Now let's style these buttons. Now we will style the buttons here. I will copy paste the styling portion. Let's see. To add CSS, we use class name keyword in Tailwind. Okay. So inside it, I have padding of 10, margin of 10, and I will give a BG red for this one. I have given BG red. Or let's change the value actually. It is I'll put the value 500, and yes, it is good. Let's put some border and radius. Border. I will make them rounded. Let's see what happens. So it's rounded. The borders are rounded, and I will change the rounded to 3 XL. So they are. Yeah, they are rounded. We will change them to 5. We'll change the margin and padding. And yeah, the button for increment is now looking good. I will center that also. It is flex inside the item center. Okay, that's good. Let's put the same CSS for the decrement button also, but with a different color, and it will be good. So for the increment, we actually took the red color. So let's for the decrement, let's take the green color. Uh, so yes, now we are ready with our project. For the very first project for this course is now ready. We have set the initial state for this counter app to 10. We can change it from 0 or anything else. The increment buttons are now aligned to the right hand side. We can change them to center, but not let's not discuss the CSS portion and focus on the functionality of this project. Here, when we are clicking on the increment push button, we can see that the counter is being updated from 10 to 15, 16, 17, and we can change it to anything. And the decrement button is also working very fine. Now, one more thing which I want to put in this project is to put a conditional check. To put a conditional check, what we can actually do. Uh, let's put a conditional check. We can uh, go for a function which will be like const handle increment, and we will go for a arrow function which is discussed in JavaScript actually. Inside the arrow function we will put a conditional check if the counter value is its counter value is greater than 10. If it's less than let's put the counter value to be greater than 10 11 20. Let's check. So if count is less than equal less than 10, so if it is satisfied, then only the set count will be set uh, count is equals to count plus 1. And here inside this increment button we can actually remove this on click function totally, and now here we can write handle increment. So now this is good. Now we have put a conditional check. for count is equals to count plus 1 equals to count plus 1. Now we can see we have an error which is saying that we can have put the count to be, so we can't do it actually. So what we did initially was correct. So let's remove this portion. Similarly, we can also create a function for decrementing. I will copy paste the same formula and let's change the name. It is handle decrement. Here, if the value is greater than 10, if the value is greater than 0, then only the count value will be changed. Otherwise, we are not going to do anything to this count value. So let's change the function here. We have changed the function. Now it is handle decrement. So now let's see what's the status of our project. So you can see we had a lot of errors here. Meanwhile, now there are no errors in the project, and we can see let's update it. We refreshed it. Now when we are incrementing, there's nothing happening here because we can't increment it. Let's put a else counter. What will happen if there is no uh if there is the value is greater than 10. So here we can see we can put an alert box which will return a message saying that can't increment the value. So let's put it. So we have given an alert option. Let's see. If we are incrementing, we are getting an alert saying we can't increment the value. So we have successfully created a whole project for increment a count, which is a counter project, which is just counting the value and which was provided initially from the Vite React Vite boilerplate code, but we have made sufficient amount of changes here to create this whole project and understand the flow of React development of front-end development using React Vite. So very much thank you for watching this video. Thank you.